I read everything that you guys were talking about,
Yeah.
and I decided to wipe my understanding of Dream completely clean and start from scratch.
That's just so difficult
It's
though.
so
Oh my.
it was a bit, um, but I love doing character studies so much that I kind of just can do
Oh,
it.
I absolutely understand.
And I kind of um, wanted to. How do I explain this? Do you know? Okay, a while ago, like a couple of years, I was in um, a BBC Sherlock fandom.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I
So,
know the thing. I've watched it. But
so
I never was in the fandom though.
yeah, cause well, I'm a big fan of Sherlock Holmes, and
Mm-hmm.
the BBC Sherlock is interesting because you get 3 episodes that are an hour and a half, and then nothing for years, right?
Yeah,
It's an
that's true.
interesting fandom to be in. So,
Interesting.
what I kind of noticed in what you guys were writing about Dream is that it kind of turned him into a genius. And I was like, he's confirmed to be human, so I'm going to
I
analyze him
understand.
as a
Yeah.
human
I
who,
completely understand what you mean.
yeah,
Um,
because when Sherlock Holmes, what happened at the end of the second season is he fakes his own death, right?
yeah.
And
Yeah, I remember.
everyone was trying to figure out how he did it. And
And
when it was revealed, um, that
it was
like
it was on the
they
run.
like everything was being analyzed, every single one of his moves, every single thing he said, like everything was being analyzed to try and figure out how he faked his own death. And like a lot of people went like way out there and tried to
Mm-hmm.
make him like say, "Oh, he's had this plan since he first met Moriarty," and all like backtracking so far that it kind of stopped making sense. And I was like, "Okay, I'm not going to do that with Dream. I'm not gonna
I
say he's
understand.
had everything planned from the start. Like
I see.
there has to be multiple stages where he's he's changed his plans or he's um like or like some events have to happen that make him realize, hey, I'm building this gigantic inescapable prison and I might end up in there myself. And that's kind of how I did that analysis. And I know that it wasn't 100%, and I knew, and as soon as I was posting it, I'm like, okay, Ryan's gonna look at this, and a bunch of stuff is gonna happen. So that's
Oh
kind
yeah,
of the
I see.
mindset I was going for when I wrote it, and I knew that we would have to talk about it.
I'm so sorry. I completely see what you're trying to get at, and I think it's actually been in my mind for like as long as I realized what the Discord finale being staged, and like yet again, I'm not sure I completely realize what it means. But the thing is, what you say is actually very true,
Mhm.
and I don't believe also like in a show like Sherlock Holmes, I think that if you want to plan something like extremely meticulously planned and have this big giant like scheme made and like perfectly um I don't know work, you can do that because it's fully
Scripted.
made to look this way.
Yeah.
But on a roleplay server, there's a lot of things that are going to be part completely unexpected, whether you want it or not. I remember Dream complaining to George, like, there's this clip where like that is usually taken on Twitter because it's a token of jealousy from Dream about Quackity to George, and he just complains.
Mm-hmm.
But there's actually something important in that clip where he's on top of El Rapids, and he comes to George and he says, "Oh, you're never on like TeamSpeak anymore. You go with Quackity," and he just comes here and he does lore unplanned, and he's starting to grieve shit, and he gets angry, and like that bit where Quackity wanted to legitimate El Rapids and did the thing about murdering Carl and everything was unplanned, and was unplanned by Dream. Like it wasn't supposed to be part of his character at all. So I completely see what you mean. There's
Mm-hmm.
things in Dream's plan that are going to be uh, by nature unplanned and impossible to predict.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously it can't be a genius scheme that is like I totally see what you mean. But I don't know. It's just like it's so mind blowing how everything suddenly seemed to have a hidden meaning. Like suddenly, it seems as though there is like this big plan that is so how do I call it?
I get it. I get what you're trying to say. Like
Yeah.
it's the same thing. Like when something's revealed uh that puts everything into a grander plan, it seems like everything must be part of that. Like everything Dream says has to be like revisited and
Well, not really, but it's
that's what
like
my point is. Not really.
the thing is, there was a lot of bits that seemed weird and that now seem to have a meaning and be meaningful with new context clues.
Yep.
The thing is, we already thought about it, but since it was just a theory, nobody went too far into thinking about this because, like, when you have a theory and you just start thinking about it and making new theories based on that theory, it's kind of really, really dangerous. It's like building with scaffoldings in Minecraft.
Right.
If you do something too pretty and too beautiful and too far gone, and just suddenly the base just drops, like everything drops with it. So might as well not go too far. As long as it's just a theory. Building with theory is difficult and like dangerous.
Yes.
But so we didn't go too far into thinking about this, and now like obviously there is a lot of things we don't understand about his behavior, about why he's doing this, about what's going on, but there is lots of bits before that I've been tricked too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like there is a lot of bits where I was like, oh, he's just probably like just a human. He's just being stupid. He's just being overcome by his emotions because he's a human. He can't escape it and everything. And then suddenly, all of this stupidity, I I thought all of this all of these bits that I thought were due to stupidity are revealed to be thought after, and I feel tricked. Yeah.
Can you think of an example off the top of your head? Or
I mean, the example of the top of my head that I have are the ones I already talked about the most, so maybe they aren't like as because there is lots, but I don't remember. But the ones I can think of, like the most, are probably gonna be like the Discord finale when he doesn't actually kill Tubbo. He says he's gonna kill Tubbo, and he stalls, and I'm like I kid you not, watching this, I was like, just do it. And I love Tabo. Didn't want him to die for like anything in the world, but I didn't understand why he was just, the victory was just right there, and he just wasn't taking it. And like, also one of the things that I blamed on stupidity, for example, was Dream not manipulating Tubbo more. I'm not saying he didn't manipulate Tubbo, because he definitely manipulated Tubbo enough so that Tubbo thought that exiling Tommy was the best idea possible.
And also, he was so close to just Tubbo giving him over the disc before Tommy interrupted.
Yeah, well, I think that's calling on Tubbo's logic more than actual manipulation, probably. But no. But the thing is, when he said, "Oh, Tubbo, I was never your friend," I was like, "You never actually were his friend." He just hopped in a call once and was like, "Oh, Lemberg is good in my book now. I respect you," and dips out, and just never showed up again.
He did help Tubbo protect Squeaks from Sapnap.
Oh, I forgot that.
He, like, they played chess,
I remember Sapnap was being
he went on that whole thing with, trying to get Mushroom back to Nikki, but then Mushroom died, and then Tubbo got Squeaks, and then he tried to protect Squeaks from Sapnap.
Sapnap was following ominously, and he didn't like actually hurt Squeaks, I believe, but like he was just there, and he was like saying weird things.
Yeah,
and like,
he's like a wild animal.
Yes, that's exactly what he is. That's so accurate. So yeah, I guess there is that.
I do think that, like, Tubbo never considered Dream a friend either. Tubbo was planning to kill him that day.
Yes. Also,
I think what Dream was kind of meaning was all of those times that I was nice to you, like that was all fake. Like that was just
yeah, definitely. But then I was mad because like that's a thing that you see often in like roleplay or stuff like that, people being manipulative, because like in real life you cannot really study people being manipulative. If you're in contact with someone who's manipulative, you either suffer from it or like you hate it. It's just a terrible time. You cannot just look at it and be like, that's interesting. No, you can't do that. And roleplay and stories are like the best time you can actually be like, whoa, this is actually a very interesting psychology, because in real life it's absolutely not. And like I've seen people and characters being manipulative, and it was so good, especially when it gets into like the small things, like making themselves likable, and be like, there was so many ways he could have actually gotten closer to either Tubbo or all the characters on the server, and I was fully there for that. I was like, oh yes, please, because when like Dream went to see Tubbo and say, "Oh, Lemberg is good for me," like I totally saw what he was trying to do, and that he wasn't actually believing any of what he was saying. But Tubbo needs that. Tubbo needed that. Tubbo was alone. He betrayed the cabinet. Nobody was with him, and like Lemberg was in pieces already, like the politics and everything. And Tommy was away. Tubbo needs that. And also, Tubbo is a big follower. Like, why did he want to kill Dream? He didn't actually care much, but Quackity wanted to do something offensive. Like, not offensive, like an offensive attack. And he wanted to go for it. And Tubbo was like, yeah, sure. And I believe that's also what he did with, like, the Technoblade chase. because
Oh yeah,
Tabo doesn't
definitely.
actually.
None of that stuff
Yeah,
was his idea. That was all Quackity's.
that was definitely not
But
his idea.
I think Tubbo went along with it because he knew the threat.
Yeah, well, I
But
mm,
yeah,
possibly. I think there might be a little bit of that, but also Tubbo wanted to be more trusted by the cabinet, by the people who were close to him. He wanted them to like trust him again. And
yeah,
so when
that's
Quacky
true.
was like, "We need to do that," Tubbo was like, "Yeah, sure. I follow you. No problem. I'll do that." And like, yeah. So he was fully ready to receive compliments and like companionship from Dream. He would have been like I told AJ and other people already, but he could have they could have really been friends. And I was upset because I wanted to see that manipulation happen. I wanted Dream to manipulate the heck out of him and be actually close and go with him and be like, oh, do you need help building? And just start talking about nothing, like just like for maybe 20 minutes
And
and then dip out.
yeah, and
And like maybe 20 minutes every like 2 days and like he did for Tommy and and at the end of the day being like, I'm not your friend, I just needed the disc. It would have been so impactful. Oh man, I was there for that and he didn't do it and I was like, Dream, what are you doing? Like he would it would have been even like so much more easier to get the disc if he did that.
yeah.
And
I actually have a
yeah.
theory about that, and
Oh, I want to hear it.
I wrote it down. But Tommy was never supposed to leave exile, right?
Oh,
And
that would actually make
he
sense.
did it a lot sooner than Dream had hoped. And Dream
Mhm.
didn't want Tommy coming to L'Manberg and using Techno to threaten Tubbo to get his disc back before Dream had the opportunity to do it, which is why
Oh,
he like that would have happened. That it was leading into that, right?
yeah.
It that totally
And
would have happened if Dream had more time. But he needed more time to with Tubbo because that was like a long con. Um,
hmm
and he tried. He like that's why he said I'm not your friend. Like he had that entire but like speech planned for Tubbo, and he was going to say
okay.
it to him regardless. Um,
Hmm. Actually, that's really interesting.
and the
I
reason why he blew up the community house himself was
hmm
he couldn't wait any longer.
Yeah, that's probably actually true.
Hmm.
I I actually agree. Like I do believe that Tommy wasn't supposed to leave exile.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, maybe, but not that soon. I think Dream knew that Tommy wouldn't stay there forever. It would be hard to contain him, but I don't think he wanted Tommy to like leave exile so soon. Because like there is the Punz the Punz discussion bit and he's like, I made a mistake and Tommy left. And when I realized I made a mistake and I went back to check on him, he had disappeared.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was pretty true then. He wanted to give Tommy a lesson
Yep.
and just discourage him from trying to run away. And he realized too late that it would be probably the thing that would like actually make him leave. And he was like, "Oh shoot." And he tried to go back and Tommy was already gone.
Yeah. That him blowing up Logsteadshire and the tent was all reaction from finding Tommy's
Yeah.
secret stash in the basement. He didn't plan on
Yeah.
doing that. That was all a reaction.
That was a mistake.
It was
And
that was his
he knew
mistake because he knew he would upset Tommy enough that Tommy would do something drastic like leave.
I think he knew at some point Tommy would try to like go back to Lemberg at some point. I think he knew Tommy would try something at
Yeah,
some
well, and
point
that's why Dream was hanging around L'Manberg.
because I don't think he wanted Tommy to kill himself either.
No. No, he
Because
wouldn't.
like Tommy was hinting towards I wanna like I'm not feeling good at all, like
Mhm.
I wanna end things. But I don't think it's what Dream wanted to. Like I mean, I'm not sure about that. That's just a feeling. Because I feel like deep down, at some point, maybe not now, but at some point I feel like Dream felt like the server would be better off without Tommy. But I definitely feel like he understood how important Tommy was. And like now I definitely he wouldn't like to kill him. He could have killed him in so many occasions. Like even in exile, he could have killed him. Uh it wouldn't have been
Well,
seen or anything. He could have said that it was an accident and like nobody would have been able to tell. So there was definitely, I think, something else. But I feel like there's also a big resentment from Dream to
mhm.
Tommy in general from like back in the days when he had
Mhm.
to fight him for the server and everything. So I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, but I think he definitely didn't want Tommy to die either.
Yeah, and the fact that he's the only one that has that power too. Like
Yeah.
he could just kill him and Tommy would stay dead. There's no one there like there would be no way to revive him without the revive book which Dream had. And
Yeah, it's
but the
true.
fact that he wants to kill Tommy and then revive him, kill him, revive him, kill him, revive him over and over again, they're like
Yeah, that's
there's
also something that I felt was weird because like they were alone, like fully alone on the exile thing. And Dream had the upper hand all the time.
mhm.
And he was like, I'm gonna kill you and revive you and kill you and revive you. And he says that and he doesn't do it. And I'm like, man, you could just do it right now. Like there is literally no one. You're alone. He has nothing. And if you want to torment him, like that's the like that's now. You
Yeah.
could do that and he didn't do it. He let Tommy run away completely. Like Tommy had nothing on him, and he let him run away to Phil's base, knowing fully that they were getting near because there was the beacon. And I don't believe that Dream wouldn't be able to see that.
Mhm.
Like I know that you can make mistakes, but he was literally looking at Tommy heading towards a beacon, and he didn't kill him. And even like at some point, he did kill him. That was out of canon, and they both instantly broke out of canon. Like it really wasn't supposed to happen. And like
Yeah.
something about this, I'm like, okay, but like they could have just gone with the bit, being like, "Oh, okay,
Like
I died." But since it's how Dream acts, we could just roll with it and pretend he revived me and like go on with it, you know?
yeah, cuz that definitely wasn't a hallucination, right?
No, I don't think it
I
was.
don't think it
I
was.
it cannot be because like he took the axe and went back to Techno and gave it back.
That's true.
But one thing that's still weird is like, how did he knew about the axe? Like, there's definitely something weird about him getting in people's head at some point. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's also part of like he's a human, but he can get in people's heads, so that would justify in canon him being like smart. I have no idea actually what's
Yeah.
going on. Like lost. Um, yeah, that's very confusing. Like, how did he know about the axe before Tommy showed the place? He was in prison when Tommy like did hide the axe, and I don't know what's
I
going
don't.
on.
I'm not exactly sure. I mean, he could have had Punz or Enderwalk Ranboo tell
Actually, that's
him.
true. Actually,
Cause
that's true.
Ranboo did visit Exile, and Ranboo
That's
was
good.
there. Um, or I'm pretty sure Tommy told Tubbo and Ranboo that he hid the Axe of Peace there, cause he went to bury his other items in Poctopia.
That's true.
So it could be Enderwalk Ranboo knew about it, and when he went to visit Dream in prison, told him. But that's just a theory.
Well, it would have to match with the timeline, but
Yeah.
it's definitely something that could have happened, I think. If there is an explanation, this one would be plausible. It wouldn't
Yeah.
shock me. Because, like, we don't know how much Dream and the Walk Ranboo were connected, and, like, how their influence on each other worked, so
We
I don't know.
we do know that they talked a lot when before Dream went into the prison.
Apparently, which
And we
always.
know that Ranboo was in Enderwalk State during the Disc War finale.
Yeah, and we know that he knew phrases he wasn't supposed to know that day.
Mm-hmm.
That,
And we know he visited Dream in the prison.
yeah. I remember the first time when he like repeated the phrase, and everyone, like, I lost my absolute shite, and everybody did, but I didn't get, like, when I realized there are some phrases he wouldn't have been able to know, I was just like, oh, this is weird. But I didn't, like, I wasn't too excited about this because I deep down I thought it was just a mistake. Like, Ranboo, obviously, CC Ranboo knows what happened. He saw the animatics and everything, and maybe, like, you should have paid me more. Like, he was in the frame like 2 seconds afterwards. Technically, he didn't hear Punz say it in canon, but maybe he made a mistake and, like, just OOC the heck out of the plot, and it would have been possible, you know? But then he
I
started
think he said that
reciting.
so that because it's such a recognizable line that we would know
That's
immediately what he
possible.
was trying to say.
Yeah,
But yeah.
that's completely
Hi,
possible. And
AJ.
then, oh,
Hi.
hi, AJ. Hello, how are you? Sorry.
Ah. I'm not doing so great, to be honest, so
Aw.
yeah.
No, I'm sending you
It's been a rough
home.
day.
Aw.
But what are we talking about? I'm hearing Ranboo, my beloved.
Yeah, talking about Ranboo entering the Disc War finale place after the Disc War finale and realizing he was there in Underworld State and starting to, like,
Oh yeah.
say the lines, and, like, he said the line, you should have paid me more, that he wasn't supposed to know. But maybe he OOC'd the thing by, because, like, he knew, like, CC Ranboo knows what happened, and he saw the animatic and he heard the quote, like, over and over. So maybe he didn't realize he said something that he wasn't supposed to know, because, like, he actually was in the frame 2 seconds after Punz said that. So, but then he started saying what Dream said to Tommy when he was threatening Tommy.
Yeah, I would propose that Ranboo absolutely knows he wasn't in the frame at that point in time. And
Yeah,
he is actively using that to give us hints on Enderwalk.
that's
Because
also what I thought.
yeah, like Ranboo's hinted pretty heavily, and it's fanon for now that Enderwalk is somehow connected to Dream. Um, Technically, we have no proof of that, which I think people forget sometimes. Yeah, we technically have no proof that Dream is connected to Enderwalk. But I think that's maybe a hint Ranboo has dropped that his character is
Well, there's
connected to
definitely
Dream.
something happening between Underworld Ranboo and Dream. Like, definitely there's something. But it could be the same because, like, Ranboo said that he wasn't able to see, to distinguish good from bad. And when, like, Wilbur said, hey, destroy the windows, Ranboo was like, are you sure it's a good thing? And Wilbur was like, yes, yes, do it. And he just did it because, like, he wasn't able to tell if it was actually good or bad, and Wilbur said it was, so he just believed him. It's manipulation, but it's like a very bland form of manipulation because Ranboo is like so manipulable in that vulnerable state. I I I'm theorizing that it's what happened between Ranboo and Dream personally.
Hmm. Yeah, that Dream just sort of said something, and Ranboo was like, okay.
Yeah, Dream being like, oh, for the good of the server, I would really need your help doing this and this and this, and Ranboo being like, oh, if it's for the good, like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense, actually.
I think
It's actually, I know this is a little bit more of like a humorous example, but there's that quote of like content creator Ranboo just going, oh, there I go, down to hell. Like, sort of the same vibes,
Yep.
like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
just like go with the flow, like
I mean,
that
that's
is,
a pretty Ranboo thing to do.
yeah, it really is, both creator and character.
So yeah, that was interesting, and I remembered that recently, and I was like, at the time, I really believed that it was either a plot hole or just like I couldn't comprehend, and I was like, oh, this is just weird, but I don't really know what's going on. So maybe he made a mistake, maybe he was hinting at something that we just can't understand, and for now, I'm just gonna put it in the side of my brain and just move on. And I rethought about that because we talked about how Ranboo was probably an accomplice to Dream, and I was like, actually, there might be a little like some bits that would connect to that. Like yet again, building on theories is dangerous, so maybe we shouldn't go too far. But it was just connecting really conveniently.
Yeah, definitely. I think content creator Ranboo knows what he's doing, like I wouldn't hesitate to read into stuff. I wouldn't rely on that, but I wouldn't put it past him to have dropped very subtle hints like that. So I wouldn't say you're being like unreasonable by speculating with these things for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's unreasonable too, but something that worries me about Ranboo's storytelling right now is that he said several times that a lot of things he wrote didn't work out. So maybe it's part of a plot line that actually don't exist anymore. And at the time, it was hinted very heavily towards something that was really well written and done and everything. And now it doesn't really exist. So maybe I'm reading into something that doesn't mean much anymore, you know?
I think I would kind of argue that I think Ranboo has said that, but he's also like a very committed storyteller. I don't think he'll just like drop the ball. I think he will tie in everything that he's been doing in the past. I just think it might be a little difficult, but I do think that he will tie in all of those things.
That would be really nice.
I don't think he'll mess with the already canon aspects of his character.
So Nabitri was talking about like how Dream is still a human and he has obviously made mistakes at some point. And I completely understand what she's coming from. And I was like, the thing that really cracks me up, I don't know if I can say that, is that there's a lot of little bits like this, like Dream stalling instead of killing Tabo, Dream not killing Tommy during exile, like Ranboo saying those things. Like there is a lot of little bits that suddenly seem to connect very conveniently, and that just leaves me flabbergasted. And I'm like, oh god, like what's going on? And I totally understand the concern of like not reading too far into some things that may also be influenced by just mistakes and like
Plot
he
convenience.
Huh?
Plot convenience.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things that conveniently seem to all tie together now, and I'm just my brain gets mushy.
Oh dear. No mushy brains.
Mushy brains.
Yeah.
Nope. So, what things are you talking about? So you listed Tubbo.
Yeah. We talked about how Dream barely did anything like towards the friendship he was supposed to have with Tubbo too. And that really upset me at the time. I really wanted to have, like, we already talked about it, but I really, really wanted to have Dream manipulating the heck out of Tubbo and pretending to be his close friend so that we would have a reveal when he says, I'm not your friend, I just wanted the disc, I was never your friend. And like having a Tubbo like really taking a hit. And that's terrible because I loved him and I don't want him to be sad. But there was such a huge, like, good opportunity for like a good manipulation scheme that would have been really good to see, like, deconstructed. And I was almost mad at Dream. It was like, you turned down such a good opportunity to go for it. And like, yeah, when he started saying to Tubbo, Lemberg is good in my book, I totally saw through that, and I was like, okay, you're definitely going for like manipulating Tubbo to believe you respect them, but actually you don't. Like, Dream always hated Lemberg, and exiling Tommy was not the thing that was just gonna reconcile him with Lemberg. He wanted Lemberg gone. He wanted to destroy the place. And saying that to Tubbo was just a red flag. And obviously, he was gonna go for like the soft way, maybe. And I was like, yeah, go for it. That's gonna be awesome. But he didn't really fool me.
So, I went to go pull up a clip of Dream and Tubbo manipulation, like you were saying, didn't happen, but I swear did happen. Um,
I mean, he
and
manipulated him on other levels, but like not the friendship one.
Tommy's new video
Oh
is
god.
titled "Griefing in Real Life," and I'm scared.
Oh my goodness.
I saw that on Twitter. Oh god. Yeah, he manipulated Tubbo into believing that exiling Tommy was the best thing to do. That was definitely manipulating Tubbo. But like Nabitri said, even Tubbo didn't believe at any point in this friendship. Like, he thought definitely that Dream respected his country, but he was planning to kill him on the Green Festival. Like, and the friendship was never a real thing.
I'm gonna deafen real quick. I shall be back.
So yeah, there is probably other bits, but I can't just get them from the top of my head. But I mean, I totally see what you mean, Nibitri, and I agree
Yeah.
with you. I agree with you. We gotta keep in mind that he obviously made some mistakes at some point. But it's just like, honestly, I'm just flabbergasted by all the things that suddenly seem to change. And oh god.
Yeah, but you think he specifically built the prison to put himself in it.
Yes, I do believe it. Because he ordered people to do it. And he also made it so around the time where he seemed to start making that plan.
So he started plans for building the prison after November 16th. because they
Yeah.
started building it at the beginning of December, and then
Yeah. Well, Tommy was already in exile,
yeah,
right?
Tommy was already in exile.
So Tommy wasn't a menace. And besides, he already had control over Tommy mentally, and he always had. I mean, like he all like right now he still has. I don't think he actually needs a prison for Tommy. He can get what he wants from him. And like him being scared, him running away is something that he can get from him at any point. He said he did that for someone who was really skilled, and that's kind of why at the time everybody thought it was going to be Techno, which would have made sense though, because Techno is the only one that could probably 1v1 Dream, and I think Dream was aware of that because he was always nice to Techno, but he never knew him personally, and they never hang out. They never like. It's hard for me to get like Dream liking Techno for his personality and general kindness. They never really acted like friends, although he was always very friendly to him. So I was like, maybe he's trying to like get him on his good side, but like he intends on not having any possible enemy that could destroy him. So, I mean, nothing is hinting towards him wanting to imprison Techno because he was always nice to him and they had similar goals. But maybe at some point he will wish to have no one that can actually fight him. So I was like, this is uncalled for, but at the same time, it wouldn't be that much of a surprise to me.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, I never thought the prison was made for Techno, just because
Yeah,
they were on good terms.
that's true.
And then like I went through everyone, and I'm like, I don't think Dream had anyone specific in mind when he did build the prison. He wanted a place where he could put enemies or people that started like Quackity was getting it in his way at that point. Like Quackity was trying to make or yeah, Quackity was getting in his way because Quackity was trying to lead an army against Techno. Dream Dream knew that they would come after him. Like he said to Punz,
Yeah,
they went after
that's true.
Techno, and they're going to come after me next. Like that's why the prison has 20 cells in it. Like there isn't just one cell in the prison that was meant for him. There's smaller cells. If he was
Well,
building
that's
a prison
true.
specifically for him, why would he have all the extra space in?
Well, there is only one cell that really counts, though.
It's not like you can escape
Like,
from any of the other cells either.
that's true, but that seems more like to make it looks like an actual prison and not to be really used. Um, Only one cell really counts. And although I totally see what you're saying about this, and I'll keep it in mind. But like yeah, for me, like the one point I think we would like disagree on probably is that for me he like commissioned that prison because he was definitely thinking about something. And for you it would be more like, oh, maybe one day I will need it. But in my opinion, he definitely had something in mind. Because I don't really see why he would commission that out of the blue, knowing fully that he was probably the best PvPer. And like you said, he was in good terms with Techno. And like yet again, if he really wanted to have control over others, I think he would have been able to find ways. But I mean, we cannot really know. It's based more on feelings than on facts. So I guess I can't. I'm just saying what I believe in, but it's fully like it's not really backed by much proof.
Right. Because why did he
Yeah.
collect all the attachments? Like,
That's a really good question, though. That's a question I'm
like,
still. Why?
he's the best PvPer on the server.
Yeah.
He can pay an army to help him defeat anyone. He was building
Well,
a prison to, like, why would he even have to?
I don't think the attachment really mattered. I think the disc mattered at first because, like we said, we talked about it a bit on the other server. At the beginning, Tommy didn't care about anything and was therefore absolutely uncontrollable.
Mm-hmm.
So for Dream, the discs really mattered at some point. It was a way of like taming the beast.
Mm-hmm.
And now it doesn't matter. And I don't know why, but he has lost interest.
Yeah, and I thought about this, and Dream was using the discs over Tommy, like holding them over his head, like to try and control him. But Tommy didn't have Tommy didn't even have the discs in exile when he left, like when he encouraged himself to leave exile. And I think at that point Dream was like,
maybe there's no need.
Yeah, like, if Tommy can do this on his own, he'll keep coming back. Like, even if I knock him down, he'll keep getting up again.
I don't know.
Kind of like
I don't know. Maybe he values more the power he has over the trauma he's made to Tommy than the power of the discs.
That's
now.
True. Yeah. Because he also stopped using the discs in the final disc war. Because all of a sudden it wasn't like, I'll burn the discs if you don't stop. It's, I'll kill Tubbo if you don't stop.
Yeah. Maybe he understood that he didn't need the actual stuff anymore.
But he had already gathered the stuff. Which is why he put on the show.
I think he gathered the stuff because he wanted to put on a show. Because, like, there is a lot of things that I didn't see get stolen before. Like, not only the animals who, like, suddenly appeared out of nowhere, but even other stuff that I didn't even know he had.
He didn't even gather everything.
And, like, it feels like he got them fairly recently before the Discord.
He didn't even gather those things, though. Like, he didn't have Ender Chest or
he didn't have Skeppy?
Or like, he only had Henry, who I believe wasn't even the real Henry. He had Friend.
No, Henry died.
And it wasn't even the real Friend. He had a spot for Carl. He didn't even have Carl. He had a spot for the Axe of Peace, which he had just gotten. He had Mars and what's the other fish's name?
Backerson.
And he already had those.
Yeah.
So he didn't even go around collecting attachments.
Like, the Axe of Peace, I didn't even see get stolen. I didn't know who had it.
Dream picked the Axe of Peace up when Tommy dropped all of his stuff.
Oh.
In the hole. Dream said, drop the Axe of Peace. And then Tommy dropped it, and he picked it up, and he said, now throw all of your stuff in this hole.
I remember now.
Tommy.
So, sorry.
Oh, I was just commenting that Tommy is very traumatized.
Aww.
I mean, yeah, at this point, if he wasn't, he wouldn't be human.
Oh.
God, that's terrible. But, yeah, so...
We're
the
talking
thing
about the
is,
fact that Dream didn't even collect any of the attachments other than the ones that he already had, and he named a cow and a sheep.
and
You know,
talking about the fact that he lost interest for the attachments, it wasn't a thing that really, really interested him.
And the
you
discs,
know,
which he already had.
what's interesting to me as you guys are describing this, I'm actually thinking about like Dream's sort of like way of thinking. And like maybe you guys are right and like Dream really doesn't like actually care at that point, like whether he has the items or not. He realizes how useless it is. But I think Dream is the kind of person who doesn't want to admit when they're wrong. You know? So, like, this was so important to him for so long that he just can't let go of it. And so he just keeps it up. And he keeps up this act of, oh, attachments are such a big deal, because that's what I thought at first, and I'm never wrong.
Well, you're right, it's an act. But if he actually cared about them, he would have planned something where he kept them. Like, since he staged that Discord finale, it was completely up to him whether he was keeping those items or not. He just voluntarily gave them back because he knew he would give the upper hands to the others, and that he knew he would lose all of that stuff, the disc, but everything else. So if it really mattered to him, he would have planned something where he could prove to them that he had them but still keep them in his ender chest, or not even like use those items but like other things that would get people mad. Like, I don't know what he was trying to do, but he was definitely not caring about the attachment enough that he actually wanted to keep them. It was just a mean to an end.
Which actually, you bring up a good point. Why didn't Dream have like netherite and stuff prepped in his ender chest for whenever he got out of the prison?
Didn't he? And then he gave it to Connor.
Yeah, I think he had something
Yeah,
in
he
his
did.
ender
Okay.
chest, and he just
Okay.
threw it to Connor, and Connor ran with it.
Why did he throw it to Connor of all people? Like, what do you expect to happen?
Yeah, because Techno had already given him a netherite set, so he threw his netherite set that he had in his ender chest to Connor. And then when they went back to Techno's base, Techno demanded his stuff back and left Dream with nothing. Yeah.
Like, what did Dream expect, honestly?
I don't know.
Sorry.
Because I remember, yeah, he said, I gave my set to Connor.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it made the fact that Punz had prepared a set for him more impactful. So I'm okay with that.
Well, Punz just had a set sitting in his ender chest, which was probably an extra set just in case, or in his shulker.
Yeah, he made it for Dream because he was like preparing to get the shulker, and like one of the things is also one thing that I brought up in the big first analysis. Punz was also always very wary of his shulker box, and he placed it down next to Dream.
Yeah, right in front of Dream. I noticed that too.
And he let Dream mine it himself, and asked for the pick back, but like didn't really mention the shulker. And I mean, Punz got it, but he wasn't like expecting Dream to get it, or like wasn't scared about it. Which, yeah,
That's an
I think he
interesting
knows.
point.
I think he knows Dream didn't care about the things like the shulker box in the vault and everything was just really for show, and he wasn't that interested about
like
it.
The bedrock and the shulker were all in the vault.
So I actually still haven't watched the thing with Punz and Dream, so there could be something that totally like cancels out this idea. But I'm gonna throw it out there. Do you guys think it is possible that Punz, like everything that I've heard makes it sound like Punz really, really trusts Dream, and like they're genuinely like, you know, friends and allies and whatever.
Yeah.
I think
Do
more
you
so
think
than
there
anyone
is
else.
do you think there's a possibility where he's not? You know?
I mean, if he
I
was
don't.
going to
I
betray
don't think so.
Dream, he would have done it at the final disc war, right?
Yeah, or right now. No, the thing is, Punz talked a little bit off, like when he wasn't with the others, when he was alone, and when he wasn't with Dream. And what he said was like genuine relief and happiness to see Dream and be around him. Like when he left Sapnap took him in VC and was like, Punz, I trust you. You're the only one. Me and I are the only ones who can probably get him before he does something bad. We should just split up and like look for him. And Punz was like, yeah, we can't let him like just escape. It's terrible and everything. And they split up. And Punz got like he was alone and suddenly says like he waits a little bit, still saying, oh, I wonder where he is, but like in a serious way. And then says, now that Punz is a little bit away, I wonder where he is. And like something very way more like lighthearted and not actually seriously going after him. And I was like, oh god, is it happening? What is going on? And I could feel it. And then he said, it's gonna be the finally we're gonna reunite, etc. And he said, I wasn't supposed to go or something like that. Like I wasn't supposed to go to the prison. That's not how we were supposed to reunite. So I didn't go to visit him in prison. But I can't wait. And then he saw Dream and he was like, oh yes, finally, and everything. I'm so happy to see you. And Dream was also like really
Dream called him
genuinely
buddy.
happy. Yeah. And when Punz left Dream and like started being alone again, he was like, oh, keeping an act for so long that I was against him was like really wearing me out. And I'm so happy that things are now normal again and can go back on track, and that we can continue the plan and everything. And
Just saying. That sounds a little bit like someone else who was quote unquote friends with the Dream for a little bit. And it's an out there theory. I know it is. But I just want to throw it out there.
who's that?
Tommy.
Did he do that?
Oh, absolutely. During exile? Absolutely. Tommy was always excited for Dream to come.
Oh yeah, but that was different though, because he was being manipulated.
Is Punz also being
Yeah, but what's different here? Have we seen for sure that that's not what Punz is experiencing?
You mean manipulating Dream?
No,
No.
Dream's manipulating Punz.
Yeah.
I know it's probably out there, but I'm just throwing it out there as an idea, because it does, like, particularly how you're describing it, Ryan, it makes me think of Tommy in exile.
Interesting.
Just throwing it out there. It's probably not the case, but
I don't think so. Mainly because like people can choose to follow others without being manipulated. Like it's a thing. But I mean, we didn't see the whole thing. Maybe there's like maybe a lot of things that we didn't see. But like there's also the thing like when they started talking in front of the prison about how they were going to be allies, but like in the shadows. And Punz talked about possibly betraying Dream, and Dream was like, yeah, you should not be on my side. And Punz asked with a worried voice, but we still are gonna be friends, right? And like everybody was like, no, they're not friends, like Punz is genuinely concerned, like whether it being manipulation or not, Punz is genuinely concerned about him and Dream's friendship. There is, I think now there is no denying it. And I don't understand why people still refuse to see it and say, like, oh no, he's just after money. Well, it doesn't really make that much sense. What's going on behind... Sorry.
I definitely agree that it's not money. And I do have more to say, but I'll let you finish. Sorry.
Sorry. What's going on behind the scenes and what they're talking about. Like, the thing is, manipulation is making someone do something with, like, lies or something, like deceiving them into accepting something that they wouldn't have accepted if they knew the full extent of the thing. So maybe Dream is like telling Punz he wants to do something good for him, but actually doesn't plan to. So that would be manipulation, and that I guess we cannot know. But somehow I think, on the other hand, but personally, that Punz knows Dream's actual scheme and probably agrees with it. That would be my guess.
Yeah, he knows.
To me, it's not Punz's behavior that makes me think that it might not be what it seems. It's Dream's behavior. Because we don't ever see that from Dream. You know, like, Dream just doesn't really do the whole, like, buddy-buddy thing. Like, even, we know at one point Dream genuinely cared about George, and probably Sapnap too. He didn't do that with them. You know, like, he didn't act like that with them, even at the beginning. And, like, Punz saying, like, we'll still be friends, right? Like, you'll come back, right? Like, you know, the thing that got me thinking about this was you talking about the shulker. Like, if Punz is really, like, jumpy about this shulker box and, like, not wanting people to take it, why
usually
would he trust Dream? Yeah, why
usually
would
he doesn't even, like, let other people see his shulker box. It's not even about mining it or placing it. Usually he doesn't even take it out of his ender chest, like, when there is people around. Like, he's really, really protective about it. So yeah,
exactly. So why would Dream be the exception?
Yeah, he could have moved everything out of the shulker box too, and he didn't even have to bring it out.
Yeah, but like, I think he trusts him. But that's, like, personally, I would say, because he knows the whole scheme, in my opinion, in my theory right there. But it could be something else. Actually, we have, like, no way of knowing. But what I believe is going on is that he knows what Dream tries to do, like what his real goal is. Not the attachment, not the thing he says he wants to others, but like his actual plan. He knows and he agrees with it and he trusts him because he knows what he's going after and that's not him. And I think that's why he plays his shulker box. Like, he's very trustful to Dream because he doesn't believe that Dream is gonna backstab him. And like, he fully trusts him. That could be a lie. That would be manipulation then. What Dream says to Punz could be a lie, and whatever he convinced him with could be false, probably. But the thing is, Punz always kind of agreed with whatever Dream did on the server. Like, he didn't like Lemberg. He was completely okay with Dream blowing it up, and he even liked the idea. And he didn't like Tommy, and he always was also in this kind of like, yeah, Tommy is just an annoyance. He's just... So maybe he's completely conscious of what's going on and what Dream wants to do, and he's just fully consciously okay with it. That could also be a thing. But yeah, definitely, I think we can't just push aside the idea that he's also probably getting manipulated. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The shulker just makes me think of, like, put your armor in the hole. in a sense, like it's less spoken, but it was at the end with Dream and Tommy. It wasn't really spoken, There was just this expectation of like you don't hide anything,
Mm, I don't think it's similar, but I see what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Because like Dream doesn't like Dream with Tommy, Dream asked for the stuff, for the things, and even if at some point it was unspoken, like that was obvious that was what Dream was expecting from Tommy. Whereas with Punz, Dream didn't seem to expect much. Like, and not the shock.
How would you know?
He was expecting Punz to like give him probably food and like armor, but not the shulker box. I don't think it was on the table. But that's true. How would I know? I don't know. That's just a feeling I got. So we can't be sure. We can't know for certain.
Dream threw the shulker back to Punz, right?
Huh?
Like, Punz took it out, and they took all the stuff out of it, but Punz got it back and put it back in his ender's chest, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Because then Dream doesn't have the shulker.
No, he doesn't.
No. We're just talking about the interaction itself.
Mm-hmm.
And Punz, how he just, I don't know. That just bothers me.
You should really go watch it though, because like you could definitely see things that maybe I didn't see. It's a really, really interesting interaction, and I believe that there is hidden possible clues in it. And like sometimes like what?
The island.
Island.
Yeah. Dream mentions an island.
I didn't even know.
He said I had to change the rendezvous point because we could have met at the island, but it was too far away or something like that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
he said
there's some sort of island, which I thought was going to be Sam's island that he's building, because that's a little bit north of where they were.
Yeah, but that wouldn't make sense though, because like Sam and him are definitely not accomplices.
How do we know that Sam is building the island for him? He just said it was about lore.
Oh, that's true. Maybe it's out of canon. I don't know. But he also talked, like, Punz talked about their, like, further plans, and it was pretty cryptic. But maybe, sometimes when you already have a theory in mind, there is, like, bits that you can maybe not see. Just like a horse, like a racing horse. Sometimes you don't see on the sides. So, yeah, I would definitely like be really happy to get what you see and what you hear in that clip.
Yeah, I'm definitely, it's on my list of stuff to watch. I haven't even watched the, what is it, Serenity stuff yet?
Oh, me neither.
I am behind.
I get the feeling that
the Serenity stuff is really short, actually. Like, you can skip through most of it because it's just a song. And
I might have listened to it actually. But like, didn't he do it inside of a stream?
At the very beginning.
Then I
only watched. I stopped watching about an hour in.
Oh, okay.
So, mostly unrelated, but do you guys know about the Manatreed YouTube stuff?
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
I'm so mad that I got Ranboozled.
Yes. Oh yeah, we did talk about it in the Discord. I've been very much entertained by that.
Like, what the heck? It's not even real. And you know how I found out about it is Dream SMP Updates tweeted the video. So so I took it as legit. And then when I think it was Rosalind when
They tweeted, "Oh, sorry, we didn't know it was a fake."
yeah,
I
when
saw that.
I went back to double check the tweet and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure that it's legit. Otherwise, Dream SMP updates wouldn't tweet about it, and they had deleted the tweet. And I was like, well, there we go.
Ranboo's old. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
entertaining.
recognize. I definitely didn't recognize Dream SMP on the screenshot, and then
No, I thought it was going to be some sort of prologue. Like
yeah, but it
something
would
that
have been
happened in a different world, and then he was added, and then it would like lead into his joining of the Dream SMP.
it would be kind of pretentious to like link him directly to the revival book. I don't know, it was just weird.
Unless that's the lore that he had planned with Dream.
Yeah, that
Because
may be true.
he's been talking to them, like he's been talking to all of them for a month.
I don't understand this situation. For me, it's still Dream in hiding. I don't. What the heck is going on? What the heck? Who is
Honestly, though,
this
like the marketing
man?
of this whole thing is genius. Like
It
the whole
is.
Manatreed thing,
It
like
is. And when I read Dream's Reddit post,
yeah,
I was like, oh, so that's what you've been doing with this account.
it totally makes sense.
That's
okay,
so fascinating.
that's really dumb on the part of the person who actually owns that account to use his name, to put Dream SMP in the title, to create this story. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's dumb. I wouldn't say it's good, but it was very smart.
I mean,
It knew it would get views. You know?
yeah, it got views.
We got played. We got played.
I was bamboozled.
That's completely understandable. I think when you sent that, I was like, no, there's no way. And I didn't want to believe it, but I must admit, it seemed legit.
It did, and then I saw that the first video was posted 11 days ago, and I'm like, where has everyone been? Like, how come no one's noticed this?
That was the weird thing.
Yeah.
But like, it was kind of imposterish to use the same profile and the same name and put Dream SMP in the video. Like,
definitely. No, that was definitely
but the story in the video is kind of good, and I was interested in it. And I'm like, if the story is this good, then you don't really need to make this cover. And
also, Dream XD confirmed that he actually like dropped the book on the Dream SMP. So it's not someone else who brought the revival book in Dream SMP. So yeah, that also made me think about like, that's weird.
So that makes me wonder, actually. This just popped into my head. Do you guys think Schlatt found the book, or that Dream XD gave him the book?
Oh no, I think Schlatt
found
it.
Yeah, I don't think Dream XD plays favorites.
No.
Maybe with George. I'm not even sure though.
Like Schlatt has a little bit of dumb luck. Like he does.
Yeah.
And
he really does.
And I really think he just found it somewhere. He just picked it up and looked at these weird markings on it and said, I have no idea what this is, and I have no idea how to use it. And then I don't know, maybe he told Dream. Because they did, like, actually, yeah, because if he didn't know how, like, if he didn't know how, or what it was, but he knew it was valuable enough to mention to Dream, or trade it for protection, or maybe Dream...
he was just like drunk and showed it to Dream, and Dream was like, I want that, and Schlatt was like, now. And they haggled.
That's possible too.
I definitely, like, it would be funny though. I want those bits. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
please let us
those are the cool bits that we like, that happen off camera that we don't get to see, and then it becomes part of the story, and yeah.
We need dream shorts, but for Dream SMP.
We need dream shorts, but for Dream SMP. That would be so fun. That's such a great idea.
Be awesome.
That would be awesome.
They would give us all those little answers.
Can I
Stop
tweet
making
that?
me hype for something that doesn't exist.
Can I tweet that?
Tweet it.
Do. Let's make that. Let's make the creators do that.
Like everybody theorizing how like Schlatt used the last thing he had to like potentially hire guards for him to like fight in the Lemamber War, and it was the stupid books, and then suddenly you have a short updated and it's just Schlatt being drunk and being like, I found a revival book, and Dream being around being like, oh. It would be so funny.
I also like the idea of like Dream SMP shorts because like the comedic nature of that, you know, like we've lost that as time has gone on. Again, like literally Lemamberg, like
I hate it, AJ. You're just mad.
like it would be so fun having those little moments, you know, answers to lore, but also just like a reminder that like, you know, Dream SMP isn't all angst, you know, like
Yeah.
going back to our roots.
And I think
that's what I
lot of
love
people
about Dream SMP.
just pay attention to the angst and don't include any of the fun bits.
Yeah, but like people don't understand how
except for Blue. Blue includes all the funny bits, and I love her.
Yes.
No, but people don't understand how their own psychology works. Like, they don't realize it, but the reason why the angst impacts them so much is because they saw the happy bits. They don't include them in their art and stuff, and they don't include them in their discussion. But if they weren't there, the angst wouldn't matter as much. And they don't even see it, but they include it without realizing it. So it's definitely extremely important. And people don't actually ignore them. Like, they do, but they don't, like, unconsciously.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that's actually like a psychological, like, it's been studied that somebody experiencing like the happy moments make the sad moments, like, and just vice versa.
Yeah.
That's actually a writing technique, and
that's the best. That's the best writing technique.
And it's something that Joss Whedon put in the Avengers. Like, if you're going to have a sad moment, follow it up with a joke. Like, I wish I could find the quote where he says that.
Well, there's a difference between, like, mixing happiness and sadness to, like, kind of ease the pain and make it less important. And mixing the two to make it stronger. And, like, it's completely opposite, actually. Like, for example, if you have a story about a little girl, she's happy, she's just taking flowers in the field, and it doesn't impact you. It doesn't impact you if it's just fully happiness, and it's not gonna impact you as much if it's just fully angst. It's good because you mix the two. It's good because, like, if the little girl was sad before and had a terrible life, and suddenly, like, something good happens and she's happy, feel, like, so much more emotions. And, like, the other way around is also true. The other reverse is also true. Like, if you have the two characters are really, really happy and they're having a good time and they're happy together, and, like, if the story ended, it wouldn't be impactful. And suddenly the situation degrades and, like, everything goes downhill and it's terrible, and you cry because you see how good it was before, and you can tell how they're hurt by the change. And that's so good, actually. I love angst when it highlights happiness. That's my crack. I just love it so much. It's so good. Like, for example, Tubbo being, like, so screwed when he was president and being like, completely lost and untrusted by the cabinet and without Tommy, and he was feeling bad. And suddenly he found Ranboo, who he could joke with and just have a good time. And suddenly it felt so relieving and so good. And like this happiness was stronger than just if he just had fun, like if there was just fun and then end. And so I think that's really, really, really important to mix the two. If there is not the good bits and the happy bits, you cannot feel as much for the sad bits, and like the other way around goes. So that's why, and I think I talked about it with you too, but when Slimecicle died, it was really sad, but it was not as sad and impactful as if Tubbo died in the vault with Dream and Tommy.
Yeah.
It was not as sad as impactful and impactful. And that made me also like, I was like, I'm sad, but I should feel more.
Yeah. It almost felt like Slime was like created to die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You
true.
know?
That's what feeling I got.
Like, now that you say that, like, the more I think about it, like, his character didn't add much except
Comic
Yeah.
relief.
attachment for Quackity.
And like his character didn't have much, but when you see his death, it was absolutely tragic. Like that was terrible. His death
Yeah.
was absolutely awful, and Quacky was destroyed emotionally.
Yeah.
But us as viewer, I feel like our emotions didn't follow as much as it was supposed to, because the situation was so tragic. And we're like, yes, it's really sad, but that's kind of that. Like if Tubbo died in that vault, I can definitely tell I would have probably cried.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That contrast is really important. Anyways,
Yes.
Dream SMP shorts. Let's make it happen.